They were here from 1962 on. And I have two different scenarios in our end of life decisions with both my parents. And so for me, planning, and when we start talking, we're going to talk about legally what you need to do as you age and advance direct. How many have heard of advanced directives? You go to the I go to the doctor and they ask me, do you have an advance directive? And I'm like, I'm too young, I don't need it. But actually, by the time you're 18, anybody can put an advance directive together. And so really, planning ahead is an act of love because it reduces your stress in crisis. It puts you out of crisis mode and really helps. See, I got to get to my slide notes, sorry. It is for adults of all ages, and it honors their wishes. So the good thing is if you know what you want and you want them honored, and whether you trust your family or not to follow them, you can actually put it in writing. And so I think that is, as somebody who knows that, and as a family member, if I know what my dad wants, if I know what my loved one wants, my husband wants, that actually makes it then easier. It supports families and caregivers as well. So my father was 64 when he passed, and it was an emergent thing. He was in metastatic prostate cancer, and he went into cardiac arrest while getting chemo at the office, and he didn't regain consciousness. So we had to make choices as a family. We had nothing in place for him. No advance directive, no power of attorney, nothing. We knew his wishes, and that was great because we honored his wishes, and I had family who all agreed. So it made it really easy. But those 3 days was really hard. It was really hard because you're asking God for a miracle. You're not sure what you want to do, but you still have to make a decision. So and we chose to honor my dad. He actually wanted to be a DNR, but he never had it on paper. And we made that decision. And so we did it as a family. So if you can have paperwork in place, it just helps you. My mom, I had 6 years. So my mom told a different story. Current day today, right, started about 2016, and things have changed a little. And I was able to come alongside slowly over time to make things happen. So in your packet, I forgot to mention the caregiving section. I do have a little flyer on caregiving, so it has some things to think about and help you as you plan, put things in place, what you need help with. So that's on the left side, the caregiver and the financial. And then the advanced care planning, I did give you a tip flyer from the NIH too as well. So a lot of what we're talking about is there with resources on the back page. I don't have copies of the advanced directive. I do have copies, but not enough for everybody because I didn't know if you guys want them. So I'll share them as we go along. But where am I at? Okay. So we're going to talk about the myths. Wait. We're almost done. There we go. The myths about care planning. So when I talk about advanced care planning, I'm talking about advanced directing, honoring our wishes, mostly medically, what you want done. So there are a couple of myths. One is like, I'm not old enough yet, I don't need one, right? Like, I hate the doctors asking me when I go to the doctors, do you have an advanced directive? I'm too young, I don't need it. But honestly, it actually helps if there's an emergency. Another myth is that my loved ones will know when the time comes. Like I mentioned my father, I was blessed that my brother, my mom, my dad, I let my mom make the decision. Nurse Darlynn took, mentally I kicked in. I knew what we needed to do from all my ICU days, and I waited for them. So I was like 24 hours ahead of their decisions. I knew, but I had to stay quiet. But if you have family that don't agree, oh my gosh, that makes it even more stressful. Advanced care planning only matters if I put it in writing. It doesn't have to be in writing, but what you're doing is helping your family members because they're going to be in a time of crisis, and it's just helping them. And then I need a lawyer to create an advanced care plan. The ones I'm going to show you here, you actually don't need a lawyer for. You can go online now and print a copy, fill it in. Some require a notary, a witness, but you don't. And then the last myth is like, if I put it in writing, it can't change. You can update these. So just because you do it once doesn't mean you can't change it. And there's a progression to care planning, but it really starts at any age, but you have to be an adult. So they say at least 18 or older that you can care plan. And so the plan is to do it before there's a crisis and to make sure you know what you want. And we're going to go through the 3 different types because there are different types. So if you think of it this way, I think on the slide it shows you can do an advance directive. There is something called a power of attorney, and that one tells you who you want to make choices for you. So a power of attorney is the who. So I want to direct my mom. I did one for my mom, healthcare durable power of attorney, and it directed me to make choices on her behalf. And that's all it says. It's like 6-8 pages long, but that's all it says. Then there's what's called an advance directive. And in California, it's different from state to state. And in California, the advance directive is where you put all your wishes. So you're writing and saying, this is what I want done. I want all full measures being done. I want to be on a ventilator. I don't want to be fed. I do want to be fed. And it's very specific, and it walks you through. And now in 2016, they have a new form called the POLST form. Has anybody heard of a POLST? It stands for Physician Order. I call it the pink because it's usually hot pink. It's like bright and pink, but I didn't buy pink paper. It's called a Physician Order for Life-Sustaining Treatment, or POLST. And it's a physician order. And so once you hit 65, if you're on Medicare, they will require you to do one. But it's usually meant for like serious illness, end of life. If you are in any type of assisted living or a facility, you are required to do one. So there's certain rules. And it's a physician order. So it follows you from place to place, and it allows them, like if you get called to 911, it'll allow them to honor these wishes. So this is sort of at the end of life, and it's called a POLST form. And again, so there's 3 different types. So think of the power of attorney is who helps me. The living will or advance directory is I say what I want done. And then the POLST is the physician order when you're late life. And then that's what it looks like in pink. It literally is pink. I call it the pink POLST. And so I had to do one for my mom. When she got to the assisted living, it was required. So then that way, if they had to call 911, they would know. And she was a full code, so it was really easy. We wanted everything done. And then as we put her in hospice, we had to change it. And then we had to make some changes. And that's how we did it. I had a power of attorney over, and there's different types of power of attorney. You can have a healthcare power of attorney or a financial power of attorney. I did both with my mom. I did have our lawyer friend draw them up, but again, you can print those online. I don't have copies of those. And again, it just says the who. And after the bank thing happened, I realized, and then my mom went to the emergency room once, and I realized I need to pay her rent for her when she was in the hospital. And I'm not on her checking account. I can't write the rent for her. I didn't know what to do. And I realized, okay, I need to do something. So I got a financial power of attorney. We added myself to her accounts, which that actually helped. So that is separate. It's called a financial asset power of attorney. And again, it's about the who. That allowed me. The medical one allowed me to go to doctor's appointments. It allowed me to start calling and making appointments on behalf of my mom. There is some HIPAA form that you can also need to complete with that too, but it allows you to be able to be part of the care, right, besides the consent while you're there in the doctor's office. So I found those extremely helpful. Now, they only matter when they're alive. Once they pass, they don't help you get access to their finances and stuff. It's a little different. But it is a healthcare, so again, it's the who. And then the advance directive, I printed this off from the California Hospital Association. It's 8 pages, and this is what I have copies of. I did not put this one in your folder because I didn't know if anybody was interested. But if you're interested, this is the Living Will or Advance Directive. This is the one where you can write your wishes, and it guides you through it. And then I think on the back, after you sign it, you have to get it notarized. And then you just bring it to your doctor, and you pass it out. You start passing out as you go to your doctors, so they all have copies, especially if it's not like an integrated medical record where it's scanned in your MyChart or something like that. And so I did bring copies of this. So if you're interested, I'm going to leave them on the piano, and you can take one for sure. So those are the 3 types. Again, the power of attorney is who. Oh, funny story. When I did it, I was like, okay, Mom, I want you to sign this paperwork. And I explained to her what it was. And she says, well, I think your brother should be on it too. And I'm like, this isn't a beneficiary form where we're splitting inheritance 50-50. This is someone making a decision. You really want Dwayne and I to start coming to all your doctor's appointments together and making decisions together? And she's like, oh. And so I said, just let me, because I'm going to be the one taking you to the doctors. It's not beneficiary. So you're just putting who you want to make your medical decisions for. And then the advance directive is your wishes. And then the POLST is later in life when a physician actually writes the order for you. That's really what advanced care planning is. I have some resources. We're going to hand out this slide deck. Here in Orange County, I pulled a lot of the aging information from the National Institute of Aging, except for the spiritual dimension, because that's, sort of related to us. But you have an Office of Aging here in Orange County. You have a Council of Aging that's Southern California. And then there's a caregiver, Orange County Caregiver Resource. That very bottom link is important because you can hook up yourself to Meals on Wheels. It has different places and go to find help and support if you need placement and that kind of thing. So I found these 3 areas the best resources in Orange County for someone who's looking for more information than what I shared today. And of course, those of you who knew my mom, that was like Hawaiian outfit. She brought her coffee here at church. You always had the coffee mug. But I had to include my mom on here since I was sharing stories of her. And she lived she had a great life. And I'm blessed that I could be part of it. It was hard on me sometimes, but it was worth it. So I think we're going to wrap up here. Oh, good. I'm doing really good in time. So I think when we talk about aging, I was talking about aging with purpose and wellness and forgetfulness, and when it's time to make changes in your life, to have someone come along and support, knowing it's a journey. So, and to give yourself grace and to try to make small daily choices to be intentional. Advocacy for me is love and action, so speaking up and having a plan and empowering people, but empowering independence. I'm not saying, it's just happening and we give up. It's like, I've shared a couple stories how I got really creative with what I had to do. Who would want to get called 3 times a day for insulin and blood sugars? But I did. So compassion, support. I mean, faith, I can't say enough about my mom being at church. It gave her purpose. My dad was head deacon, and his picture was up in the sound room for decades. But they served the church when they were young, and it continued. I don't know, once my mom started needing to use a walker, she was retired, and she lived just down the street. She would come here during the week and pass out all the Sabbath schools. She would prep all the Sabbath supplies and pass them out to all the rooms because it gave her purpose. She had to stop when I had to start having her caregiver, who we're paying, take her here so she can pass out the supplies. I said, Mom, I don't think we can afford this anymore. We got to come up with some other way you can serve. And we did. But being creative is really what it's about. And so I'm grateful that I could use my nursing knowledge to help my family with their decisions. Sometimes they don't want to hear it, and I have to respect that. So it's a two-way street. But if I could leave you with anything, I would say your faith, preparation, and your community matter. And so with that, I thank you for listening to me today, and hopefully this empowers you to age with purpose or find different ways to do care differently, compassionately, and to find your circle of 5 if you don't have it. Questions? Do we get time for questions? Okay. Questions? Abe, can we turn one of the other mics on?
Hello.
Thanks. Questions? Anyone? No question. I'm okay with no questions. I don't know if I can answer them. Tiffany.
Can we save that for next month's workshop?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a short announcement. Next month, we will have hands-on binders, printouts of things to help prepare family binders for just-in-case scenarios. So we will ask Darlynn to be there with us to help us with some of the paperwork, as well as our new pastor and people that are familiar with it. We're going to ask you if you can come join us to help others. And then people that are not prepared, we will have all those ready because Pastor has several binders in his office. Thank you, Pastor. Elder David.
Questions? Oh, yeah. Questions?
Yeah, I have a question about dementia, and
Yeah.
you might not have the answer, but I'm just going to pass it on. You know, I was fortunate to be one of 7 children, and the last 2 were my half-brother and half-sister. And when my stepfather got dementia, he always remembered me. I could walk in a room, he knew me, but he didn't know his own son.
Yeah.
used to break my heart.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand that because that's his son.
Yeah.
I must have been a real character or something, I guess. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, and as you have memory loss, right, it's like what causes some of the memory loss, which I think is like lack of oxygen to the brain or degradation of those cells. So depending what parts of the brain determines what type of memory. So Alzheimer's is complete, like when we say dementia, it's an umbrella for lots of different types of memory issues. Alzheimer's is one of them, very different. And so dementia in general is just progressive loss of memory loss, right? So it's not in a specific area. So it's very typical people remember the long term, but forget the short. So for him, he probably just, there's a part of his brain that's not working the same way anymore, that's lost its ability, that he couldn't recognize it, is probably what it was. Yeah. Claire had her hand up. Do you still have a question?
Claire? It's about sleep.
Yeah.
How does circadian rhythm work so that, because I normally, I have all the time to stay in bed, but I just wake up at too early, and it's less than 6 hours, and I need more hours to sleep, so
Yeah.
I don't know how.
When you sleep, you have REM cycles, right? So your body falls in and it's deep sleep, and it's in those cycles of deep sleep. And for some people, it's usually every 30 to 45 minutes is like a cycle of REM. So it just happens that you're in a lighter state when you wake up. For me, when I wake up, my brain starts, I can't fall back asleep.
Right.
Once my brain starts going, I'm like done. And so I don't really have any cures for that. But yeah, whatever you could do to relax yourself to get back into another cycle. But so if you wake up, so for some people who dream, it's because if you remember your dreams, it's you're waking up when you're in your active sleep cycle state. Versus some just wake up feeling refreshed and not thinking of anything. It's like you've completed a whole cycle. And you do multiple cycles when you sleep. So, and your body heals in that deep REM cycles. Yeah. Ariana. We're making David walk, which is okay. It's been a long time.
My question is about the resources.
Yeah.
You said you'll give us some of the links to see what the different power of attorney and
Yes.
advance directive.
Yeah, I have the links that was on that last slide deck. So when we send the slide deck out, you'll get the links.
I guess my question is more just like, where can I find information on what each one is for? Because, like when you reach that stage,
Yeah.
then suddenly you're just kind of learning on the fly. And I really hate that feeling.
The one handout I put in the bulletin here, this actually talks you through the different types.
Okay.
So this one has the information, and then it has the links on the back where you can get the forms too as well.
Okay.
And if you can't, then reach out to me and I'll help you find them.
Great, thank you. And also, just off the top of your head, like, do you know where we can find, what's it called? Like FAQs or just questions to ask? Because every time we go to a doctor's appointment, they always say, do you have any questions? And I'm just like, what am I supposed to ask?
Yeah.
I mean, how do we find these
Questions, that's on a general health. I could probably find something for you. I don't have anything.
Okay.
I know for me personally, it's just like,
See, you work in this, so you know.
yeah. I always come prepared with a couple questions. I have something growing on my hand, so I have to have hand surgery soon. So even I went to see the hand specialist last week. So before I went, I just went, so what am I going to ask? Well, what is it? How long? So I had 3 or 4 questions, wrote it on my phone, so I can make sure when I'm there, wait, don't leave, I want to ask these questions. So.
No, that's helpful, just because I feel like physicians have been directing my parents, and me and my sister have, we want to help them.
Yeah.
And well, the doctor said to do this, and we're like, wait, you have to ask them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can ask questions to your, we have to give our parents the questions and they can ask them, or can me and my sister ask them, or do we need to sign these papers? Can I help ask a question? Oh, yes, help us.
Yeah.
I have similar scenario with Ariana with my dad's situation. How does she and her sister get added as like people that can talk directly with the providers to help coordinate that care?
It's a HIPAA authorization, HIPAA, so it allows you to be like a designated proxy. If you want to be like for Diego's care, you consider yourself a proxy on his care, and so you can fill that out, and that will give you access to medical records.
And in the meantime, for Diego, because he's a minor, then it's like automatic, or?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But like if
their
you have,
parents.
so on our phones, like my organization, we use something called My Chart. UCI has it too. And so if you have you can set up an account for a kid where you have access to it and they call it a proxy. Like, and I will say the financial health care power of attorney is good if you and your spouse are on Social Security. Get the financial asset of power of attorney for each other. That actually allows you to go to Social Security and become a designated, I think they call it a designated user. I ended up doing this with my mom. It's called a designated user, and that gave me access to call on her behalf and deal with Social Security. You know, and that helps you in the long run. So for your parents, you may not be at that point, but for
Right.
the health care, you can do a power of attorney, but you can actually ask to be a HIPAA authorized user is what it's called.
What did you say about the Social Security?
If you do a financial power of attorney, you can then, and it's good like my husband and I, this would be good to go while you're both still alive. You do the financial power of attorney, and then you could go to Social Security, and they call it a designated, it's a form you have to fill out and some things, but they call it a designated user. So it allows me,
Designated user.
designated user.
Oh, thank you.
And then that allows you to have
See, I
access.
feel like some of these things just kind of happened, like when
I
Diego-
knew none of this. I had 6 years where every time I was like, I should start blogging about this or keep a journal. I never did. I was too busy. But most of what I'm sharing is just like what I learned and just the little
Right.
stories of things.
But
that
even then, like when I went to Social Security office, like they didn't tell me these things.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
they're not.
I don't know
Yeah, they're not.
what they're called, what the forms are called. And when Diego got SSI and he has IHSS, and we have just all these things going on, and I don't know what any of these things are called.
Yeah,
But thank you.
you're welcome. He's got tissue. Any other questions? Well, I think.
Elder
Oh,
Lou does.
Lou.
Which is the best time to exercise so you will have a good night's sleep? Some people get up at 5 in the morning
Yeah.
and go for a walk, and they're dead for the rest of the day. Some people do exercise in the evening and sometimes can't sleep either. So I think for me, it's in between 9 and 3 o'clock, the maximum exercise. And then at this age, falling asleep is not a problem because I have a good night's sleep. But
Yeah.
in general,
I know
what would be a good time frame?
you're not going to like my answer because it's going to be different for every person. So it's how
Yeah.
exercise affects your body. So, go take a 30-minute walk and then see what it does to you. Does it, invigorate you and get you going and jumpstart and keep you going and give you energy? And if it does, then I wouldn't do it at night because then you'll have too much energy to fall asleep. I'd do it sooner in the day. If it relaxes you, I used to do yoga a lot. I really liked yoga a lot. And so that would relax me. So I'd want to do that at night, not the day, right? Because then that allows you then to be more relaxed to fall asleep. So it's going to depend what type of exercise and how it affects you. And it'll be different for everybody. And your age, recovery time and everything, yeah. But playing around with it and seeing what works for you and then trying it is more of what it's about, those small choices in that consistency, right? Yeah. Anybody else?
Can we get you back to do another, maybe like a workshop on self-care for caregivers?
Oh, yeah. So I think that is the plan. Tiffany next month is going to, no?
But Elder David will put that in the rotation.
Yeah, we'll figure something out if there's another interest or someone else who has more knowledge in this space than me. For
Is
sure.
that it for questions?
Okay, for my bingo winners, if you're still here, I have gifts here. I have puzzles. I have games. So come on up and grab your prize. I have some word searches, the coloring books. I do have some crayons to go with it. There's a cool dog puzzle. There's a cat. I had to go one each. There's some playing cards. And then if anybody hangs out and there's any left, I'll just give them away for free. Oh, but before we do that, okay.
We have to do this.
Oh, we do.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Let's give her another round of applause. Let's have a word of prayer.
Let's pray.
Our most gracious, loving Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your Sabbath day. We thank you for the message that we received from you this morning. And this afternoon, another message, a health message. which is very important for us because we have to take care of ourselves, get our body ready for you to reside in us. Help us to learn whatever we learn today, apply into our daily life. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. I'm going to take this off.
Photo,
Photo shoot? Take this
photo,
off.
photo